Whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, I mean, I think everybody in our modern society is familiar with the idea that Jesus was born of a virgin, that his mother, who many Christians will almost exclusively refer to as the Virgin Mary, that she gives a virgin birth to, and Jesus is the result of this. I often though will talk to people who are of other faiths or just not Christians, and they'll mention this idea of the Virgin Mary as though it is the most ridiculous idea they've ever heard. So many times I've been having conversations with someone and they will talk about how silly it is to be a Christian. And one of the reasons that they'll give is that you got to believe in crazy things like a virgin birth. I mean, how dumb is that? That sounds like something from an old, legend, a mythology, a fairy tale. Something for kids to believe, not something for an adult, a grown-up, rational person to believe. How could any thoughtful person really believe that Jesus is born of a virgin? Well, let me give you my perspective. To me, as a Christian, the idea that there is a virgin birth is not shocking. It's not even really a major problem. And I'll tell you why. The virgin birth is essentially a minor miracle. It's something small that God says happened. But there's so many more miracles or so many more mysteries that we got to account for before we get to the virgin birth that it becomes insignificant in comparison. We got big problems that we got to deal with. If we're looking for, hey, is it rational for us to believe that there could be a virgin birth? Well, I think bigger than that, and even more foundationally, we've got to explain some big potential miracles, like the existence of everything out of nothing. The scientist and Christian alike, those aren't really mutually exclusive groups, but the atheist, scientist, and the Christian alike have to explain how everything in the world, everything in the universe, comes from nothing. All our best scientific evidence says that the universe itself had a beginning, and we struggle to find a natural law, something in science which could explain this emergence of everything from nothing. It almost is hard to comprehend how much of everything there exists, and that this could all have originally come from absolutely nothing. Not only that, even if we could explain that one, then we got the emergence of life from non-life. All our best scientific evidence says that in the distant past, there's a lot of time when there's matter in the universe, but there's no life. And now all of a sudden, life emerges. And here on Earth, we have such a diversity of life. There's not just life, but life in all these different forms, leading up to humans. The idea that there's consciousness, that we could be self-aware of what we're doing. But that itself we don't really have a natural law we can point to say, oh, well, this explains how consciousness could even emerge. Now you've got all these big questions, foundational questions about existence that we got to answer, and that we struggle to see something in the natural world which could explain it. But Christians, we don't really hesitate when we hear that the ideas that life came from non-life. That's not even an issue for us, because for thousands of years, from the dawn of our faith, it's always been clear God created everything from nothing. God created life when no life existed, that God imbued us with consciousness. These are miracles of God that we don't really worry about, because we know that miracles can exist. We only struggle to explain these things in a world in which miracles cannot exist, and the only natural laws can explain everything. So for the Christian, you're reading your Bible and you're going through all these foundational ideas, these humongous miracles where amazing things are happening, and then God takes care of his people. And now we get all the way up to the New Testament, and now there's a virgin birth. I mean, in comparison to what's come before, it's almost forgettable. There might be some theological implications to the idea of a virgin birth for the Christian, but really, this is almost a throwaway line in light of all the miracles that we've already bought off on. So by the time you get to the virgin birth, This is not the one miracle. This is not the one miracle that's going to shake my faith. I could believe that God created everything. God created all life. God created consciousness. God, raised Jesus from the dead. That Jesus himself raised other people from the dead. If I believe all that, if you pointing out to me that there's a virgin birth story, I got way bigger problems. There's way bigger miracles than the virgin birth. And I think this comes down to just an idea about our presuppositions about the world, about reality. If we don't believe that miracles can happen, if we start off with the idea that miracles cannot occur, then miracles, big or small, are going to bother us. A virgin birth, the creation of the universe, these are all going to be things that we're going to struggle with because, hey, we've decided ahead of time, miracles cannot happen. So when we see what might be a miracle, we are stuck with having to explain it through some other means. This gets us into some tight spots because when we look at something like the emergence of life from non-life, now we must find a natural law which would explain how this could happen, or the emergence of everything from nothing. We're stuck with having to find a natural law that could explain it, and despite our best efforts, we cannot explain these things. I would suggest maybe we just be open to the idea that miracles could happen. We just don't know. At the very least, I think that the fair attitude would be miracles could happen, but we don't know if they have or haven't. This at least would give us the option to follow the evidence where it leads. If it's reasonable to believe that miracles happen, then we'll believe that. And if it's reasonable to believe that something happened as a result of natural forces, then we'll believe that too. That's essentially the Christian opinion. Not everything that happens in the world is a result of a miracle. The sun rising in the morning is not a miracle. We can understand that there are natural laws which can explain how it could happen. But there are some things which it appears, the best evidence would suggest that natural laws cannot explain. And those are the things that Christians call miracles. If we start off with the idea that miracles can't happen, then yeah, the virgin birth is a crazy, ridiculous story, one of many, which would disqualify Christianity from the belief of any rational person. But I think if we take a more reasonable approach, the one that says, hey, we're going to just follow the evidence where it leads, then we're going to end up discovering many miracles, like the creation of all reality, of the entire universe. And if God is powerful enough to create everything from nothing, and he created you when you don't have to exist, then yeah, of course he's powerful enough to create a virgin birth. This is no problem at all for that kind of God. So when I hear the birth story of Jesus, when I hear about these types of miracles, yeah, it doesn't faze me because I know that a God exists who's so powerful that he could do many greater things than that. That one doesn't even stand out.